bargain was struck the moment you entered this world. Incarnation itself is the contract. Blavatsky, the Gnostics, and the King James Bible all agree that this denser realm stands under the governance of a lesser power, called Satan, the Demiurge, or the Prince of the Power of the Air. Most people feel this as a trap. They imagine the only way to beat the devil is to withhold, to stay pure by refusing full engagement with life. That is precisely how the bargain is lost. The devil does not primarily seize the soul that gives itself. He seizes the soul that holds something back. The unoffered portion sinks into the subconscious and becomes shadow. It is here, in the reflected light of the moon, that the archons and demonic forces operate. The moon does not generate her own light. She mirrors what is cast upon her. In the same way, the lunar sphere of the psyche mirrors everything the solar center has refused to face. Repressed force, unlived life, denied desire, unacknowledged fear, all of it gathers in that dim reflected realm and becomes food for the dark side of the moon. The archons feed on this emotional charge of what remains unconscious. This is why people become irrationally invested in their projections. The intensity they feel is not really about the other person. It is the spirit attached to their own unoffered material defending its host. It is not wrong to see the evil, the pain, the violence, and the destruction in the world. These things are real within the present density. Outrage itself is not the error. The error is leaving the outrage unintegrated. When anger at the state of the world remains purely external, it becomes another charge in the lunar field, more food for the same forces. But when that same outrage is turned inward and used to fuel the work of purification, it becomes part of the offering. The energy is no longer leaked into projection. It is gathered and placed on the altar. The feminine matrix, whether encountered in a woman, in the living world, or in the depths of one's own soul, is the soil of this process. It is the place of death, decay, and nourishment at once. Everything that is rigid, withheld, or proudly pure must enter this soil and undergo decomposition. Alchemy calls it the negrito. The old texts are clear. Without this descent into the black earth of the moon, no new life can be generated. The same matrix that can devour the man who approaches with residual claim is the same matrix that regenerates the man who approaches as a pure offering. Death and nourishment are not two different powers. They are two faces of one soil. Even the ordinary demands of life, paying bills, meeting obligations, remaining present in difficult conditions, are outer reflections of this inner sacrifice. Most people treat money as a substitute for the real offering. They will surrender cash, time, and outer security while still withholding the deeper substance, full presence, full risk, the unguarded heart. In doing so, they pay the surface tax of incarnation while keeping the inner wealth locked away. The bills get paid, yet the residual claim remains, and the dark side of the moon continues to feed. Outer sacrifice without inner sacrifice changes nothing essential. The true way to beat the devil at his own game is not to refuse the contract of incarnation, but to fulfill it so completely that nothing remains for him or her to claim. The solar principle must consent to enter the lunar waters without dissolving its center. The vessel must be sealed yet receptive. What was scattered across shadow and projections is gathered and offered. In that moment, the feeding tube is cut. The archonic attachment finds no remaining host. The same matrix that once threatened absorption begins to return force instead of extracting it. This is the forging of the grail within. The cup is not found. It is formed when the soul stops defending the unlived life and allows the whole of itself to pass through the soil of death and nourishment. The devil's only real power is over what has not yet been given. The soul that has already been offered is out of his or her reach.